All right, hello 7th grade, I'm Mr. Rogers.
And I'm Mrs. Froman.
And you are watching the video notes for section 3-2 in your book. This is on algal blooms. So we're still talking about protists, and in particular the plant-like protists. And this is some of the kind of things you see in nature. I guess we'd say bad, but it happens. It's kind of part of the most ecosystems. And it happens with freshwater algae. In this case, freshwater, we look at a lot of freshwater. But algae, they're found in fresh and salt water. So algae are photosynthetic. They can make their own food. And they tend to kind of float on or near the surface of the water. So usually where these are found, when they usually cause most of their damage, you kind of see that yummy looking algae on the top of the
pond scum.
Pond scum, often referred to as pond scum, yes.
So an algal bloom is just the name of when there's a rapid growth of that population of algae, and it just kind of covers
so here's
the
actually
top of the pond.
Somebody before thought this was grass. Like, no, that's the water, top of the water there, And so we have a freshwater one. We also have saltwater. A lot of times in saltwater they're called red tide. And so saltwater algal blooms of algae are often red, but sometimes brown, green, or clear, depending on the species. That cause it. Here we can see the river runs
really red.
The river runs red with the blood of Burgundy. Oh no, it's a movie quote. All right, so but you can see the water looks red, hence the name red tide.
So those red tides or brown tides are often caused by those dinoflagellates or diatoms. So different types of protists. So the red tide is produced by red protists. Brown tide.
There you go.
Brown protists. Clear tide, clear protists.
There you go.
So, but the thing that really makes these happen is there's lots of nutrients in the water, and the temperature's warm enough, so they have a really good food source and a good temperature to grow at.
Hence that name algal bloom. Like there's normally certain populations in the water. When they really explode, these populations kind of take over, is when they become a problem. So like I said, they can be dangerous because some do produce toxins. And fish, other small shellfish, will eat these or filter feed out these protists and eat them, and those toxins stay like in the meat of those animals. So when people or larger organisms eat those fish or shellfish, they're eating that toxin that's in the meat, and you can also get, it's called red tide poisoning if you get eat certain foods or fishes that have those toxins in them. So I know it happens a lot, even like go down to Florida for spring break. You might hear about a red tide warning. And if you walk on the beach, you might not see it, but you'll smell. A lot of times you can smell the fish will die from the toxins, so you can smell it when it's happening there.
Then there's something called eutrophication.
Eutrophication.
Yeah, oof. Big word. That's a nutrient buildup in the ponds and lakes, and that leads to an increased algae growth that then causes problems in that pond. So what happens if you have a pond? It's not a very big area, and if the algae layer covers the top of the pond, that means the sun can't get down to the plants. So the plants that live underwater, they die and float down to the bottom. Then a bunch of bacteria are like, hey, great food source. There's all this dead plants. So they're going to break down the dead plants, but they're using up oxygen. There's no plants anymore to make more oxygen. So the fish and the other organisms die because there's no oxygen. So the algae bloom is the only thing that actually survives.
So it could look alive, but after you get past that layer of...
you get that scum off there, it's nothing there. So it is easier to control than red tides. So I have seen the lake by the Madison Zoo. They've got this boat with kind of a paddle wheel on it, and it takes the algae off of the lake. I've seen them doing that before. It, like, sucks it into this big tank.
So you can see here a picture. There's a normal lake, and again, some of these are seasonal effects too. It happens at certain times of the year. They're more likely.
When those nutrients get high.
So you can see how that same lake after an algal bloom, how it can change. So 7th grade, we're going to stop there. We thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you along the way.
Bye.